Welcome to today's Explainer. We are stepping into the shadows today, exploring a deeply fascinating narrative that takes us from the darkest corners of local ghost stories all the way to the unfathomable mysteries of the cosmos. According to the material we're analyzing today, the line between a terrifying supernatural encounter and an extraterrestrial event, well, it might be much thinner than we ever imagined. Just think about that for a second. What if the ghosts we fear are actually visitors from another world? It's a completely wild thought, right? But the research we're diving into details the experiences of a paranormal investigator who began his journey hunting spirits, only to end up uncovering patterns that suggest something far more advanced, and perhaps not of this earth. Section 1. Beyond the ghost stories, the objective search for the supernatural. Okay, let's dive into this. To really understand this investigation, we've got to look at the methodology, starting with a very grounded, personal sequence of events in Versailles. The investigator was a science student, up late studying at midnight. First, he recorded an unexplained sound right by his ear, followed immediately by the undeniable noise of a heavy chair moving in an empty room. Just days later, he spotted a white figure moving rapidly near his parked motorcycle in the dead of night. He tried to debunk it, logically, but local investigations revealed a dark history, a trapped spirit in that exact location. It's this specific sequence of terrifying, unexplainable events that sparked his lifelong quest for the truth. But here's what really gives the investigator's claims weight. He actually separates fact from fiction. He actively debunked massive local legends like a famous abandoned Russian hotel in Goa or the Shaniwarwada fort, which yielded absolutely zero captured paranormal activity for him. Yet, locations like Asia Villa, they were genuinely terrifying, triggering extremely high EMF meter readings and a strong invisible presence that psychically warned him to leave. By showing us that not every scary story is real, the truly unexplained ones become incredibly compelling. Section 2. Mysteries of the Mountains, Fairies or Interdimensional Beings. Transitioning from those urban haunts up into the isolated high Himalayas, we come across a truly chilling and unresolved disappearance. In late May, an MBA student named Babita Pandey was trekking at Dayara Bugyal in Uttarakhand. At 11:30 p.m., she left her tent to listen to music near a small pond. The next morning, she was completely gone. Despite massive, coordinated search efforts by the army, the police, and dog squads, 30 days later, absolutely no trace of her or her belongings was found. There were no signs of an animal attack, no footprints leading away. She just vanished. Which brings up a vital local perspective. The locals don't call it a mountain. They call it the Mountain of Fairies. The area is actually heavily signposted with this warning. Local shamans even claimed they psychically communicated with these entities, stating point blank that the fairies took her. Our investigator reframes this highly subjective belief, proposing that these so-called fairies, often described as glowing, beautiful entities that hypnotize people, might actually be encounters with extraterrestrial or interdimensional beings who are using the mountains as portals. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that this isn't an isolated incident. There is a bizarre, reoccurring pattern across the mountains. Take the story of Jitu, a flute player who interacted with mysterious lights that transformed into beings, followed them, and vanished without a trace. Up at Chandratal Lake in Himachal Pradesh, locals consistently report visitations from glowing white entities. And it's not just lights either. There are widespread sightings of the Pahari Mama, a massive, hairy, Bigfoot-like creature roaming the peaks, further suggesting these isolated regions harbor unclassified, possibly extraterrestrial life. And the investigation doesn't just stop at high altitudes. The deep sea holds equally terrifying secrets. In 1997, sensors captured the bloop, a massive, ultra-low-frequency underwater sound resembling a giant creature yelling. It's a quick pivot, but it proves just how little we actually know about our own planet and how easily highly advanced or massive life forms could be hiding right under our noses. Section 3. UFOs in Indian Skies, the 2004 Chandratal Encounter. Expanding our narrative to a macro scale, we look back to the skies. In 2004, a team of 6 top scientists from ISRO, India's highly respected space agency, were wrapping up a 7-day research trip near Chandratal. As they were packing up, they spotted a massive, humanoid-shaped object hovering in the air. It moved directly toward them, stopping just 50 meters away. Now, these are highly trained scientific observers, and they watched this silent object hover and rotate right above them for 15 solid minutes before it vanished instantly. The photos they took were allegedly classified by the government, though one supposedly leaked online. And it's absolutely crucial to point out that this isn't just happening to isolated government scientists. Everyday citizens are experiencing this too. A credible report was shared from a woman in Rajasthan who, while sleeping on her roof during the COVID-19 lockdown, woke up to find a massive, silent flying saucer, literally as large as her entire roof, hovering just 20 feet above her. No way to explain that away as a weather balloon, right? Section 4. Gods or Ancient Aliens, the Cosmic Timeline. Let's move to and see how this builds. To tie all of this modern phenomena to ancient history, we have a deeply provocative theory regarding human evolution. While the accepted age of the Earth is 4.5 billion years, some theories calculating the sheer evolutionary complexity of human DNA suggest its origins could trace back 9 billion years. If true, this implies human DNA's starting point didn't even happen on this planet. And to really put our own technological infancy into perspective, just think about this number, 40 years. That is how long it took human technology, specifically the Voyager 1 probe launched in the 1970s, just to reach the outer edge of our own solar system. It would take us hundreds of millions of years at current speeds to reach other galaxies. This emphasizes how incredibly primitive we are compared to interstellar visitors who can apparently cross dimensions in seconds. But here is where it gets crazy. Descriptions of that kind of advanced technology have actually existed in Indian texts for thousands of years. Take Vimanas, for example. Found in ancient texts like the Rig Veda, Vimanas are defined as ancient flying chariots. But when you actually read the descriptions, they sound remarkably like modern spacecraft, capable of traveling at light speed, moving across dimensions, and even plunging underwater. Which leads us directly to this explosive quote from the source material. What if the temples we worship in are simply architectural replicas of the spacecraft our ancestors saw descend from the sky? Think about the distinct, tiered shape of many ancient temples. It directly mimics the descriptions of those Vimanas. The hypothesis presented here is staggering. Our ancestors saw highly advanced extraterrestrials land, perceived them as gods, and built temples in the exact shape of their crafts to honor them. Furthermore, it is heavily argued that this ancient extraterrestrial presence never left us. It's just covered up now. We are objectively looking at massive global claims here. Places like Broadshaw Ranch are cited as alleged active interdimensional portals, guarded so heavily that drones sent there automatically get hijacked and landed by advanced military tech. Then there's Area 51, where whistleblower Bob Lazar claims the U.S. is actively reverse engineering 9 recovered extraterrestrial crafts. And most shockingly, Chaim Eshed, the highly respected former head of Israel's space program, publicly claimed that a galactic federation of alien races exists, operates underground bases on Mars, and is in direct contact with global governments. We've journeyed from a haunted hallway in Versailles all the way to the concept of a galactic federation. The information we've looked at today fundamentally asks us to rethink our entire reality. If our history was actually written in the stars, what exactly are we waiting to discover in the dark? Next time you look up at the night sky or hear a strange sound in an empty room, you might just have to ask yourself if you're truly alone. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Keep questioning everything.